What is Elon Musk doing? That's the big question. What is this game being played right now over Twitter? I wonder if it is as simple as Elon Musk believes in free speech and he is pushing back against censorship, or if there is something darker, something deeper. I don't know. Neither do you, nor does anyone except maybe these private equity firms that are trying to shut down Elon Musk's attempt to gain control of Twitter. In the latest news, Elon could have competition. Private equity firm Thoma Bravo is considering a Twitter bid to thwart Musk's plan to buy social media giant as Vanguard scoops up the largest stake in the firm. Why? This company is failing. Well, it's really simple. I'll tell you this. You're not buying a social media platform. You are owning the news cycle. In the industry, my friends, they refer to Twitter, the stream of information, as the fire hose, because it is an endless stream of opinions, of views, of photos, of videos. You want to own that. It is the global town square, effectively. Somehow, global terrorists have accounts, and the Russian government and the Chinese government have accounts, but Alex Jones and Donald Trump don't. Because, well, conflict is good for the people in power. They need you to see enemies. What they don't need you to see is external influence in your own country that is making you vote against their interests. What they want is, look at the evil Putin. Oh, and look at this little girl with the Ukrainian flag. Don't you just hate the Russians? Well, they can control that flow of information if they have control of Twitter. So what happens if Elon Musk comes in and says, enough, free speech? Well, now they've lost that control and the system goes free. Elon Musk is exposing some dark, shady dealing going on. It's fascinating. I pointed this out a long time ago, that a Saudi prince bought a large share of Twitter. And people told me, no, he can't really do anything as a minority shareholder. Get out of here. Influence is influence. 5% better than zero. Of course, there is power in holding a piece of Twitter. So why is a private equity firm trying to buy out or outbid Elon Musk when they don't even manage nearly as much money as Elon Musk has? When everybody's known for a decade, Twitter doesn't work as a business. Now all of a sudden you have these leftists who once mocked Twitter saying, this is a low ball offer from Elon Musk. They shouldn't accept it. They're creating a fake narrative. That's the game they play. These people are evil. The fact that foreign interests have controlling stake, or I should say, have influential stake in Twitter, where our news cycle is being manipulated, and the former president can't be on there, but Russian government officials, Chinese government officials, outright terrorists are allowed on the platform. Something is wrong. So maybe Elon Musk can fix it. But let's take a look at what's happening with Vanguard buying the larger stake. Ooh, that's getting weird. You know, the fascinating thing about these big companies, Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street, it was actually Ian on Timcast IRL who first brought this to my attention, talking about these companies that basically own everything. Apparently, some of these companies actually own each other, too. They have stakes in each other. Perhaps the real goal here is to obfuscate the true amount of power that they are amassing. And if we don't do something about it, you will live under a boot. Here's the story from the Daily Mail. Private equity firm Thoma Bravo is contemplating a bid for Twitter to rival that of Elon Musk's offer for the social media giant. Well, I can only say as a shareholder of 22 shares, that's right, 22. Hey, competition sounds pretty good at the very least. You know, I'd prefer Elon Musk get in there and fix it. But if in the end they compete and the share price goes up for everybody, well, you know, the platform's trash anyway. I can't imagine it succeeding beyond a certain amount of time. It's eventually going to ban its way into irrelevancy, as I believe it already has. I'll say it again. Elon Musk pointed this out. Some of the top 10, out of the top 10 accounts, he pointed out several haven't even tweeted once this year. That's crazy because there's zero value in it. All right. Thoma Bravo, which already owns other tech names, McAfee, Landesk, and Barracuda, manages more than $103 billion in assets, has a team set aside working on the possibility of acquiring the platform. How are they going to do it? You manage $103 billion in assets. Okay. Then between you at the company, do you have enough to rival Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, who's going to be putting up $41 to $43 billion for this? They're making a push, a source told the New York Post. Currently, it is not known what Thoma Bravo's bid might be or when it will let the Twitter board know of its interest. A source told the Post that should a bid be made by the company, it might be seen as a white knight. Tesla chief Musk launched the hostile takeover. Yeah, we know. $43 billion deal. Musk told a conference in Canada that he was not sure he would succeed and acknowledged a plan B, but refused to elaborate. I think we know what his plan B is. After the stock value implodes because corrupt ideologues are trying to use the platform for evil instead of as a functioning business, Elon Musk then comes in and just starts buying up shares at a discounted rate. Now, of course, there's a poison pill being that may be attempted by the board. It was reported, I believe this is what they're trying to do. I could be wrong about this. It seems that they want to set it that, no one company can hold more than 15%. The board can vote on something like that, or they wouldn't sell to that degree. I don't know how that would work or if that's actually what they're planning, but there is reporting. USA Today says they want to put a poison pill that would prevent Elon Musk from being able to buy the company. Why? This doesn't make sense. The company isn't doing well. I mean, it's a big company. Don't get me wrong. It's worth billions of dollars, of course. But they struggle with user growth. They are losing users. It's like they're trying to extract as much control over the system as they can until the system burns down. Elon Musk could come in and fix it and make everybody money. But you know what? Elon Musk said at this conference, I don't care about the economics. And if that's the case, and I believe it is, why would any of these other companies that have invested in Twitter care about the economics? They don't. They want power. They can shut you down. They can shadow ban you. They can hide your opinions, and they can make it seem like the true popular opinion is crackpot cult garbage. Crackbot. Burp. No, I mean crackpot. As I often say, Twitter's board met on Thursday afternoon, and the company's CEO, Parag Agrawal, afterwards spoke to staff. He told employees that the company was still evaluating Musk's $43 billion offer, according to The Verge. Ahead of Agrawal's speech, employees were playing songs including I Say a Little Prayer and I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys, the site reported. The 37-year-old Agrawal then held a 25-minute Q&A session. He did not say when the board would have an answer for Musk or which way the board was leaning. Responses which The Verge said frustrated some staff. The board would follow a rigorous process and make a decision in the best interest of our shareholders. Uh-oh. Let's jump over to our good friend Elon Musk's tweets. Take a look at this. Cameron Winklevoss tweeted, Twitter is considering a poison pill to thwart Elon Musk's offer. They would rather self-immolate than give up their censorship programs. This shows you how deeply committed they are to Orwellian control of the narratives and global discourse. Scary. Elon says, if the current Twitter board takes action contrary to shareholders' interests, they would be breaching their fiduciary duty. The liability they would thereby assume would be titanic in scale. That is to say, my friends, it's entirely possible that with the Saudi prince, with Vanguard, with Thoma Bravo, they're not going to accept this. These are shareholders, mind you. But that would mean the Twitter board would have to put it up to a vote. If the Twitter board says, no, we're not going to accept this and we're not going to take a look at what the shareholders want, they would be breaching their fiduciary duty to the shareholders like me. I have 22 shares, and I'd love for Elon Musk's offer to be accepted. Now, if they don't ask, they would be in violation of their duties. You could sue them if you're a shareholder. Now, I don't know exactly how it works, but that's the idea. They would be liable for not considering the interests of shareholders. Now, they could put it up for a vote, and quite simply, controlling interests could say no. Perhaps this is why Vanguard bought another chunk. They want to have more power. They need to make sure 51% says no, but it makes no sense. Elon Musk has exposed the communism, the socialism that exists only for the ultra elites. They don't care about money. They will be rich forever. You know, I refer to this as breaking the barrier. There's a point at which you have so much money, you will never be poor. unless you run afoul of the elite's socialist system. And I mean that somewhat facetiously. Obviously, the left is going to be like, this is communism, you're insulting us. What I mean is, at the highest levels, the government just prints money and gives it to you. Like what we see with these private equity firms buying up houses. They get loans from the Fed, and they can just do whatever they want. Rules for thee, but not for me. The little guy, yeah, no, you've got to play the game where you're hustling. You know, it's funny. If you're poor, this is a joke. I didn't write this. The banks charge you money. Sorry, you didn't have enough in your account. We're taking 35. And if you're rich, they give you money. Like, thank you for being rich. You know, it's funny. You have a ton of money in your bank, and they say your bank account is free if you have X amount of dollars. And then with interest, you'll actually be given money. But if you have a small account, you're living paycheck to paycheck, they really try and strain you out, squeeze you out. I actually think that's stupid. But I guess the issue is for these banks, they're like, if you're rich, we want your money in our bank. We want lots of money. And so we need to incentivize you to put your money here. If we charge you money, you'll go to a different bank. For poor people, it costs us money to maintain your bank. You got to pay for it. I'm not a fan of how the entire system works, but going back to the main story and the main point, what Elon Musk is exposing is that special interests don't want to give up power over censoring your ideas because you're bad. Nick Short, political short on Twitter, communications director for the Claremont Institute, says, if the board of directors at Twitter reject the offer made by Elon Musk, then wouldn't the board be acting in direct opposition to the financial interests of their shareholders? To which Elon Musk replies, absolutely. It would be utterly indefensible not to put this offer to a shareholder vote. They own the company, not the board of directors. Nick Headley said, Elon Musk, where would you draw the line on free speech? There are necessary limitations. You cannot openly call for genocide, for example, because people might die. And disinformation, where a fact is irrefutable, can be dangerous too. Knowing where to draw the line ain't easy. Well, Nick, I have an answer for you, and is that you, nor I, nor anyone else are the arbiters of truth and morality. We are but humble humans. We are fallible. And thus, when dirty games are played by the likes of Twitter and Facebook, they suppress true facts, like the Hunter Biden laptop. This is political disinformation, so we're going to restrict access. Why? Because they are psychopaths. People who think they're better than you, and they know it. No. People should be allowed to decide for themselves. And that means stupid people, and that means smart people, and it means, well, figure it out. But midwits, that's who run these companies, midwits. Now, I'll never make the mistake of undermining my opposition, political rivals. The people who have access to this cash, these are smart people. They're not stupid people. They know how to control systems. These are people who can look at a machine and say, I know how it works. High IQ people. And they're powerful. But they're narcissistic, egotistical, and they think they're smarter than you. Now, truth be told, as I said, they're smart people. They may be. But the smartest people in the world are not as powerful computationally than the decentralized network of humanity itself. Of course, they seem to think there are too many people, and not all of them. But this leads to a scary premise. To put it simply, however, I would say no matter how smart these people think they are, they get things wrong way too much. And because of that, they have caused tremendous suffering across the board. I think it's an abuse of power. And that's why I've always been somewhat left on a lot of political issues. You know, I said I like the idea of taxing the rich at a high rate because it restricts their power. But then they just get involved in government and then they do dumb things. Well, it is true the president doesn't have nearly as much power as people think it does. So the real issue, I suppose, is the alphabet agencies, in which case taxing the rich and taking their money and giving it to the government isn't a great solution. It's simple, probably not perfect, but I'm interested in exploring that if it means powerful special interests are restricted in manipulating the flow of information. Maybe we can restrict government corruption if we get rid of the crony, sycophantic individuals who have the ability to manipulate it. They say, the 37-year-old Agrawal held a 25-minute Q&A session. The board would follow a rigorous process in the best interest of our shareholders. Musk last week disclosed a purchase of 73.5 million shares, this we know. On Thursday, asset manager Vanguard Group increased its stake to overtake him as the largest shareholder. Vanguard now owns 10.3% of Twitter, while Musk owns 9.1. Vanguard, led by CEO Tim Buckley, increased its stake in the company at some point during the first quarter, according to SEC filings made on April 8th. Vanguard previously reported owning 67.2 million shares of Twitter, or about 8.4% of the company, as of the end of December, according to FactSet. Let's play a game. They say, Vanguard bought it at some point in the first quarter. Really? Increased its stake at some point. Why wasn't this publicly available? When did they report it? The SEC filings were made on April 8th. I find that really interesting. They're going after Elon Musk, saying he didn't properly disclose his purchase. The game is rigged, even for someone as powerful as Elon Musk. Let's play another game. It's called SpaceX is not publicly traded. You want to talk about Elon Musk's net worth? It's basically Tesla. $280-something billion. If SpaceX goes public, could Elon Musk instantly become a trillionaire? You may be. The cost of space travel has dropped so dramatically, thanks in part to what Elon Musk is doing. Starlink will bring internet everywhere on the world, low latency internet, which means watching movies and gaming, interaction. The challenge right now with satellite internet, which we use back at our compound for emergency backup, is the latency is somewhere around, I think, 350 milliseconds. That makes gaming quite difficult because there's a lag. So you press the button, and then a third of a second or so, or, you know, a decent amount of time lags before the information can go to the server and then come back to you. With Starlink, the latency is very, very low. I think it's like 10 to 50, which means gaming in the middle of the mountains in an RV. We'll get to that point. Elon Musk was able to give satellites to people in Ukraine to connect them to the internet and give them powerful access. SpaceX is probably worth a ridiculous amount of money. Would Elon Musk be willing to risk more? See, here's the game they might be playing. These people, they're collective. They're a collective. Their power is amassed in that they've teamed up and they manage other people's assets. Thoma Bravo, 103 billion managing assets. I'm curious about how much net worth those involved might actually have outside of their own company, because maybe it's more. As I said before, we see these big investment firms or these management firms like Vanguard and BlackRock. Some of them, I don't want to say which, or how, but among these groups, they own pieces of each other's company. So how much will they really be able to offer? Are they really going to be able to offer 45 or 50 billion? And would Elon Musk not just come back with a plan B and say 60 billion? Because he knows how important Twitter is. Is Elon Musk mission driven? He is. He said it. Elon Musk said it at a conference. I don't care about the economics. If he were able to generate $60 billion for Twitter, the company would be worth more money. Under its current leadership, it won't. And this is why it doesn't make sense. These other companies are trying to buy it out. Now, Vanguard buying more, if it was in response to Elon Musk, it seems like it wasn't, does make sense. If Elon says, I'm going to buy it at a premium, well, then if it's trading at $48 and he's going to buy it at 54, free money. You're going to make more than 10%. All right, I'll throw in $1 billion and get 100 million out of it. Why not? Elon Musk is going to hand the money right over to you. So buy, right, baby? They're saying that because Vanguard bought this, it's likely the deal won't go through. But I look at this and I'm like, it literally might be because they're like, Elon's going to give us free money. We're going to get a big return for our shareholders. But I'm not convinced Vanguard and any one of these other big companies, State Street, BlackRock, I don't think they actually care about money. They are rich and they will be rich forever. People ask me about what my goals are with this company or whatever. And I say, I don't know. Every day I wake up and I lay one brick. I wake up and I look at the building we're putting together, the city we're building, and I say, whoosh, brick. I do the work every day, and brick by brick, we will build this machine. And I've had people ask, like, would you ever take a buyout? Would you ever, sell to a company? And the answer is yes, of course. There's no such thing as no in business, only terms. However, I don't know what terms could be offered by any company that would incentivize me to give up what I enjoy doing, and that is every day laying a brick. What I mean by that is, look, I've been well off for a long time. It's funny when many of these people on the left are like, Tim's grifting and making all this money off a grift or whatever. And I'm like, bro, Disney paid me a bunch of money. I was flying twice. Was I flying 1.5 times a week, working for Disney with major budgets? I could have stayed where I was, and I was well off. Anything I could have wanted, I had. Now I have a company where I have way more responsibility, way bigger of a headache, employees to deal with, and things aren't so easy. But the company is growing. And the company is growing because every day I feel like laying bricks. We built this mobile studio. We come out to the Daily Wire headquarters. We interact with them because it's fun. Because every day we want to say there are certain things that are more important, and that's honor. I thought about this the other day. I was talking to the guys at Daily Wire. I said, "What are you after? Like why do you do what you do?" And I said, man, it's because I wake up and I just want to lay bricks. I want to wake up and just build. But I really want to see honor be returned to this country, this idea that we have a duty to each other and that we will work together. And I think right now we have, typically among the establishment political party, you have ideologues who think they're better and smarter and that their world is better than your world. Whereas I feel a decentralized network of humanity should be deciding what is the world. That is to say, more of a free market when it comes to ideas. These big companies, I guarantee you they feel the same way. I do not believe that the Vanguard is sitting there saying, like, we want a big return. They're saying, how do we control global influence? Because when you have that much money, saying one word could make you rich. There was a point where some hackers took control of the AP, the Associated Press Twitter account, and tweeted that Barack Obama had been injured. And I think it was like the NASDAQ dropped by, or it was one, a major U.S. stock dropped by like 10%, maybe the S&P or something. 10%, this is massive because people were selling off like crazy because the AP said something crazy happened. And then the AP quickly regained control, corrected, saying it was fake news, and the market rebounded about 9%. 1% never returned, but more importantly, 10% of the net value of this exchange shifted hands, and some people's lives were probably destroyed. It's a scary thought. But my point is, for many of these people, they realize that that level of influence is more important than just trying to invest well. Oh, yeah, we'll just buy into Twitter because Twitter's going to make us money in the long run. Yeah, right. They're saying we're going to buy into Twitter because if we can control the narrative, we can manipulate any stock we want, however we want. And that is the dirty game. Controlling the flow of information. I think these people are evil. I think Elon Musk is chaotic neutral. I think his attitude on free speech absolutism is not perfect. I think him just being, I'm opening it up to the public won't solve everything. There will be problems he'll have to overcome. I think we often get so angry about political censorship, we forget that some censorship is actually good. Like when people post abuse of children or animals. We don't want them posting that content, especially when it comes to kids, the horrifying things that people do on the internet. Those people should be in prison for the rest of their lives. Some would call for the death penalty for the people who exploit and abuse children. The point is, you got to have those limits. You'll need censors to moderate that kind of content, but not political opinion. These extremist organizations, these massive equity firms, they don't care about fairness or honor. And I view that as evil. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I like the Klingons. A little too much for me. They're a little too aggressive and arrogant. In the Star Trek universe, the Klingons are a very honorific, honor-based culture. Now, I respect the idea of honor. That is to say that you have a standard for yourself, you have a standard for others, and you would also recognize your duty to others, that you would have scruples and say, it would be wrong of me to engage in certain behaviors because it would violate the rights, infringe upon the rights, or cause harm to the others and the whole. We need that. These big companies don't have it. I'm not even saying Elon Musk does, but his moves could help bring back a sense of duty and unity. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.